So welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Ernesto Medina, and I have with me here Marcia. Marcia, I'm so thankful you're here to share your story.
Hi.
You have a very awesome story to share, so I'll let you kind of take over and start talking. So first of all, what brought you into our office, and how did we get connected?
Well, that's an interesting occurrence that happened to me. I had something called a thyroid storm. I didn't know no one knew what it was, but I just all of a sudden um, started losing weight. I was extremely tired. I was in pain. My heart was beating a lot. And um, initially the emergency room doctor, had to go see the emergency room, said, there might be some thyroid issues here. And as I was waiting for my appointment with an endocrinologist, which was going to be months, I just wanted to be proactive. And I had just mentioned, everyone can see that I was getting really thin. I was losing a lot of weight rapidly, including my hairdresser. And when I spoke to her, she was so concerned for me, but she actually found you on TikTok and sent me your TikTok video.
Mm.
And you're right here in Texas. I'm relatively new here to Austin. We just moved here from California last year. And when she sent it to me, your message just kind of hit me. You said, "Hey, I specialize in thyroid issues." And I just thought, okay, he's in Round Rock. I'm going to give him a call. And that's how I found you.
Yes, excellent. And so you ended up going to the emergency room because of your symptoms. They were so severe. They ran blood work and found out you were in a Graves thyroid storm of all types, right? Because we have Hashimoto's, but you were in specifically Graves, which can be very aggressive, and the
Yes.
symptoms can be very intense. And yeah, so their recommendation was to find an endocrinologist, but unfortunately, it was like a 2 or 3 month wait for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you decided to
Yeah,
be
it was going to be a
proactive.
long way.
Yeah. And be proactive in the meantime. And you found us. And after our first meeting, you took advantage of the free consultation and we met. What motivated you to kind of follow through and continue with the program?
Well, I think number one, you have such a great demeanor, Dr. Medina,
Oh,
but you also are a great teacher. You explained everything so simply for me where I can understand
mm,
um, what was happening to my body. And you were, kind of laying out, these are some possibilities and these are ways that this is how we can approach it. And the most important thing that you said to me is you look at food as our medicine.
mhm.
And when you said that to me, I just love that because I'm always looking for the most natural way to heal or to get better. And that just rang through to me. And I just decided right there that you were my doctor.
Awesome. And so as we started going through the program together, is there anything specific that stood out that you feel like really helped you?
Um, what stood out most was doing things I never had done before, where we did the restrictive diet
Mm,
to find what could possibly be causing inflammation in my body,
mhm,
and eliminating basically most foods that I'm so used to eating. Or I really realized too that I had some very bad habits when it came to food,
mm,
eating processed foods or even fast foods, because I'm a very busy person. But when you get to a point where you can't work anymore because you're in pain, or I'm
mhm,
just exhausted all the time, I just was so determined to find a way to get through this and to actually find a way to cure myself, right? But I couldn't
mhm,
have done it without you, without your guidance, and with you helping me with really getting onto more of a clean diet, actually
mhm,
really clean diet, eliminating most foods that the sugars and fats, and and preservatives and all of that, really getting onto a clean diet. I think that was the biggest change for me
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
most impactful. Yes.
absolutely. And so I don't know if you care to share, when we did do our blood works with you, our initial evaluation, we ended up discovering that something else was going on. Do you care to share?
Yes. Yes. So when we did the blood work, I had my A1C was elevated as well. And
Mm.
literally I was deemed a type 2 diabetic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you met the diagnostic criteria for type 2 diabetes, and you didn't know, so it was a shocker for you. But again, this is why the diet was so important. And I think one of the things that I told you at the beginning is to not panic. There's potential for us to get that back under control into remission with assessing your diet and making some pretty drastic lifestyle changes, right? And that's
Yes.
exactly what you did.
Yes. No, that's 100% true.
Yeah. And so as a result of implementing kind of the program and the things I taught you, what were the results? What was your final blood test?
Oh, it was a journey, right? It doesn't happen right away and
Mhm.
things like that. So, but ultimately our blood test, our last blood test came to be so amazing. It not only blew us away, but it blew away the endocrinologist,
Mhm.
where everything had normalized, including my A1C.
Yeah. Mhm.
So when the endocrinologist took a look at the blood test, she just couldn't believe it. She looked at me and she said, "Marcia, how did you do this?"
Mhm.
And I said, "I did this in conjunction with an amazing um, chiropractor who also seeks natural methods, and it's a big change in my diet. And I am no longer type 2 diabetic. My A1C reduced down, and
Mhm.
all of my thyroid hormones are now normal.
Yeah.
um, she she still has me on medication just for the next couple months. She just wants to make sure. She did reduce the dosage. I only
Mhm.
take half of what I had
Awesome.
before.
Excellent.
And she said, if all goes well in 2 more months, I will be completely off medication.
Oh, wow.
And she told me I'm in remission.
How awesome is that? Now, I didn't get a chance. You didn't update me on this because you saw the endocrinologist after our last appointment. And so that's pretty exciting to hear,
It really is.
right?
I can't even tell you how exciting it is to make such a turnaround and in a relatively short amount of time. Dr. Medina, I saw you, I think we started in March. So it's really, or it was February. I
February. Yeah.
started with you. And then, yes, so we're now here just starting July.
Mhm.
And just a few 4 or 5 months, I've turned my entire health around. So thank you so much.
Completely around. You did an amazing work. And what I always tell people is I'm kind of the guide. You have to do the work. And I can guide everyone, but if they don't do the work, we don't get the results that you got. And so I congratulate you for putting the effort and the time in.
Oh my goodness. So well, thank you so much. Um, I think one of the other great things about seeing you, Dr. Medina, I just felt a genuine, uh, you genuinely care. And that rings through. And that's such an important thing because going to the doctor, not that they don't care, but I think, I never felt that with my doctors.
Sure.
And yeah, the feeling that someone really cares about you, you're not just going through their office. And I so appreciate that. That is something very, very special. We don't get that in the regular doctor world. It's very, very rare.
Yeah, it's very true. And really I've built this clinic to really to strive on that piece is the one-on-one relationship and the one-on-one connection as we guide you through this program, because it's not an easy program, and it's a lot of drastic lifestyle and nutritional changes. But those that are willing to do the work and want to make the change, oftentimes we see a pretty awesome result. Yeah. Now, I went back after we met last, and I put side by side your first blood test and then the last blood test. And wow, the changes were so dramatic. Aside from being type 2 diabetic that you put into a remission and you're no longer considered type 2 diabetic, your Graves, your thyroid antibodies and your Graves antibodies are so close to being in full-blown remission, like so close to being back to
Yes.
negative. Half of them did go back to normal. So we just have that one marker left, but it sounds like your endocrinologist has already categorized you as in remission, which is even more awesome.
Yes, absolutely. She was really stunned by the results of that last blood test. And, just to think, just 2 months ago, she wanted to use radiation iodine on my thyroid and one. So, she now is looking at that like, oh my goodness, right? You did it.
Yeah, that's an awesome point because, I think you had mentioned to me first appointment with the endocrinologist, she was already bringing up, let's radiate and remove your thyroid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She wanted to either surgically remove it or, yes, she just told me my choices was medication for now. And then it will either be radioactive iodine or surgery.
Yeah.
And, I said, please let me, try to do this naturally as possible. She was very skeptical, but she allowed me the time to do it, and we were able to do this. I
Yeah.
was able to do this with you.
Yes, 100%. Luckily, I was able to coach you. We met before you met the endocrinologist. And so I was able to coach you into what to expect, what they would likely tell you, and, to hold your ground and ask for at least a chance, right? There's there's not much damage in at least giving you a short time to try to get it better. And luckily you stood your ground. She reluctantly agreed. But
Right?
but your body had the potential to heal so much that even in 6 weeks, we were seeing changes on our halfway point blood test. And that bought us a little more time till the 12, we're about 4 months by the final one. So
Yes.
we lucked out on that sense. Well, actually, it wasn't luck. You were proactive about finding someone to work with while you were waiting. So that's awesome. Now, where do you think you would be right now if you hadn't taken action to find someone like us before that endocrinology appointment?
Oh boy. It's really stressful because when you get sick, it becomes such an urgent position. And I think if I hadn't found you, I probably would have followed whatever the doctor told me to do because I didn't know what else to do. Even though I was doing my little, I would search on Google and see what other alternatives are. But honestly, probably what would have happened is they would have removed my thyroid.
Yeah, they were ready to jump in right away.
Yeah.
And I'll give I'll say this, that sometimes it is necessary. Graves is very aggressive for some people, and medication was involved to kind of get control of your symptoms at the beginning. But like you mentioned, the endocrinologist has tapered your medication down, I think, twice already, right? And so she's even
Yes.
saying in another 2 months, she'll check again and she may take you off completely. So that's a big win in that sense. Now, for anyone out there watching this video who might be suffering with chronic thyroid symptoms like you were, and maybe they already have an endocrinologist, hopefully they still have their thyroid and it hasn't been removed yet. What would your advice to them be?
I would advise them to take control of the situation because you can actually, there are ways to combat certain ailments in our body. And I was able to do that through food. And just, you know, really taking care of myself and taking that time to relieve stress. And I would just advise them to seek out someone like yourself, a doctor who will help them find a holistic way.
Mhm.
And they can still work with their doctor, but also be educated on what their choices are, their options.
Yes, 100%. I always recommend people to work with their doctor. Um, Never tell them otherwise. However, if they're educated going into the visit, like you were, you can
Yes.
control a little bit better your own outcome. Take control of your health.
Yes, that is so true.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Marcia, for sharing your story with everyone, with the world. If we can change just one or two more lives with this video, I'd be very happy.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. And thank you again, Dr. Medina. I am so grateful to you.
You're very welcome. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.